Welcome to the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Interviews, a series we created to give even more exposure to startups from the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Network. Today I'm here with Leon Gomans of Teqplay. Teqplay is a context broker that provides information and applications to empower the shipping industry, make smarter and better informed decisions in both planning and execution. But definitely, Leon will explain more about this. Welcome, Leon. Welcome.
Good morning, Leonardo. Thank you. Hey. Thank you for having us in the interview.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a lot of words if you mention it this way. But I think if you look at shipping, it is really about making well-informed decisions. It's a lot of things are changing, and the weather is changing, schedules are changing, and there is a lot of dynamics. And I think what we are doing is actually providing information that will help you to make a smarter decision, given there is so much information already available. We bring that information to you so you can optimize your operations, you can optimize your planning, you can optimize your execution of the operations actually.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we should go more deeper into this. But before, let's take a step back and tell me something about like who is Teqplay, who are you, and how you started this, how it came to be, and then we'll talk about the challenges that you tackle.
One of my passions is really technology, innovation, and collaboration. And when I took a deep dive into the industry and into the maritime industry, I was really attracted to it because that is really what is happening within ports and within port calls. So really an appealing environment where things are moving and things need to move. So in 2015, I started together with Richard, Teqplay. He is also really into this passion of innovation, technology, and collaboration. And we take a deep dive into the maritime industry and into the world of the port call optimization. So it was a trip that started in 2015, and if you look now, we are 2020. We're a team of 26 people currently, and really working on this, really taking this journey and bringing this informed decision making towards the industry. We've got a good team of bright developers. We've got a lot of context knowledge on what is happening within the industry. And this is what we do together with clients, combine their knowledge, their challenges with our technology and our passion for collaboration and come up with solutions that help to increase the performance of the industry.
Absolutely. That's great. And actually 26, I mean, it starts to be a big number of people to manage. And of course, as every overnight success, it takes time. So 5 years, but definitely, actually, I've been following. I mean, you've been on the map on the infographic here for long now, for 3 years almost, almost since when we started, and you made a lot of progress in this time. So can you tell us a bit more about the challenges of your clients, of who you're serving, and actually who is that you're serving as Teqplay?
Yeah, I think if you look at our focus is the maritime supply chain and the port call, and all the actors that are involved within this supply chain could be our clients, but there are a couple of main actors within this supply chain that are in need of information or the information position. That is basically in the port call a terminal, that is the place where the vessel is visiting the shore. That is the shipping line who is coming to bring the cargo, and it is the port authority who is granting access towards the vessel. That's a game that needs to be coordinated and where collaboration is required. So what you see is these are typically our clients. So we have the big terminals, as quite some big terminals as clients. We've got shipping lines as clients, and we're serving port authorities in that respect. But then again, if you talk about a port call, it is a game where up to 27 stakeholders are involved. And the information that we have, that we deduct from the planning of the terminal and the shipping line or the port authority, is basically also information that we are providing to suppliers. So they also can tune in their planning, their operations to actually the time the vessel is arriving or the vessel is expected to depart, for instance.
Yeah, of course, because yeah, you have maybe 1, 2, 3, 5 clients, but it is a complex mesh of interacting parties and stakeholders, 27, 28 stakeholders for a port call. And you have really to know what everyone is doing. And
Exactly.
in doing so, you're also helping those who are not your clients, because you really want, you and your clients want the machine, the system to work perfectly. And actually, so you're providing this level of information about what is going on in the system.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. That is what we are delivering. It's a shared awareness. So everyone is looking at the same picture, and that people, if they need to make a decision, are basing their decision on what is the actual situation at this point in time. And we are supporting, yeah, the terminal on when will the vessel arrive at my terminal. We are supporting the agent who is doing actually the coordination of this entire game,
yeah.
with all the relevant actions that are happening at this point in time. Or, and then we move a bit more towards the prediction level, is when we expect certain things to happen. Because if the vessel is already at the quay, it might be a bit late to find that out at that moment. You want to be pre-notified in many cases.
Absolutely. So there is a component of real-time data, but there's also a component of forecasting and seeing where this situation is going to evolve, so that you can and take actions in advance before you will be notified that, oh, by the way, the ship has finally got to whatever point X, and
Yeah.
you want to know it before, because then you're ready to do that,
Yeah.
whatever is needed.
Yeah. So basically, you see, we're collecting loads of historic information that helps us to do predictions for the future, and we are able to continuously monitor, like, what is happening in real time, what is happening in the here and now.
Yeah. Okay, so and all of this in one port, but then you are working in more than one port. So how this did your interaction with ports, and I call it a port as a community of different actors. How did it evolve in time, and where are you working now? Who are your clients right now?
Yep. Yeah, we are based in Rotterdam, so obviously it's a very logical place to start in Rotterdam. That is also, yeah, that's where we started. That is where we really engaged with the community, with the port community. So with the pilots, with the tugs, with the port authorities, with terminals, and with shipping lines that were visiting Port of Rotterdam. With each of them, we took a deep dive in, like, okay, what are the challenges you are facing? What kind of information would help you in this respect to make a better decision? What kind of information are you are you missing? I asked them a lot of times on the question on the stick. If you could be a wizard, what would you wish for? And these were the key points to really look into, like, can we provide that type of information? Can we give you that type of insight within your processes? Because that is the thing that that our clients is triggering. So if you have a look at who we are currently servicing, I mentioned, like, terminals. We have big terminals like Yara. We are globally serving. We're working with Cargill. We're working with Shell, both from the shipping line perspective, but also from the terminal perspective, and with quite a lot of port authorities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and other ports. We are in discussing collaboration projects or projects to roll out.
Yeah. So basically, you learn your ropes, as they say, in the port of Rotterdam, which is a very good start, because it's one of the biggest ports in the world, and so really there's everything you have to learn of a port operations is there. And actually, not learning because you didn't know how port operations work, but because really the question, what is that you stakeholder really would need at this point, is something that is not codified. It's something that you really learn only from the direct interaction with people who are there every day fighting because, oh, that thing doesn't work, and I would really like to have that wizard stick to make it work. And so you were sort of the Merlin of the situation.
Yeah, we immersed into the problems of the port community and really tried to solve those. Are solving those, yes.
Absolutely. And then now this puts you in a position to go and replicate the service in other ports, knowing that you're actually bringing value to these ports by bringing the experience from a big port like Rotterdam. So,
Yep.
And also our clients, as you mentioned, some big names. And so, how is going? Are you expanding throughout Europe? What are the plans?
Yeah, basically we set out, and that was our wish when we started the company, was we want to have impact. We want to have global impact within the maritime industry. It's a global industry, so we need to have maritime. We need to have global impact. So we started off in Rotterdam. From Rotterdam, we expanded into ARA region Europe. In 2019 we kicked off in Singapore. Participated also in Asian competitions of Pier 71. We're already running at that point in time a couple of pilot projects. Now starting to launching the services in Singapore, taking the step also to the other side of the ocean, to Houston. So basically what you see is like we're taking the hub approach. We're following the big hubs because the big ports are where there are big port communities, where a lot of operations that is related to port call are happening. And that is where our services are of the most value. So that's the main strategy that we are following, is the globalization of hubs. On the other end, if you look at the clients, we have really got the bigger clients that we are serving, and together with our clients like Vopak, we are looking into how can we actually support their entire network. So that's the other part of the globalization strategy. So we're not only taking the hubs, but we are actually supporting our clients in following their network, bringing their services to all the locations where they are working. So that's also helping us in our globalization strategy in that respect.
Yeah, that's also very interesting, because you're telling me it's not just a local issue, a local problem, or a local system, but it's a global system, because also ports somehow interact with each other, because ships travel from one port to the next. So are you talking about some kind of a network effect of knowing what is going on in different ports, perhaps, that is used by your clients, particularly the carriers or the shippers?
There are two aspects of it. You've got the import and the port call optimization, which has to do with one port and is really about how can we coordinate and manage all services within a port call. But of course, the game also plays in a port-to-port perspective, because you can end up way too early on another port, and you might have sped up your journey, but that will cost you additional fuel. And by knowing in advance on what is happening in the other port and making that already accessible in previous ports or in the journey towards a port, we are actually also servicing our clients in giving this kind of visibility to enhance the decision making in what is the right speed to take for a vessel, for instance. Or maybe we should speed up a bit because there is a time slot available at a terminal which is really congested. So these are the type of games we are playing, both in an import perspective, but also in a port-to-port perspective. And that's also where you see like the networks of our clients are coming in. It is either global players who are delivering services in a global scale. That can be agency services, that can be supplies, that can be survey type of companies. But it can also be a global network of terminals, like for instance Vopak or the Yara one I was referring to. So these are typically the strategies that we take to deliver these values. And because we're doing this, we can closely engage with our clients. We can closely engage again with the port community systems in a locality. And that is really a key requirement in order to be able to deliver the right services, because every port is a port, but every port is different. And that's one of the lessons we have learned in the last couple of years. Rotterdam is a port where you might think you have encountered everything, but if you take the step towards, for instance, Singapore, one of the big differences is that Singapore is an anchorage port where a lot of anchor operations are taking place, which is a completely different dynamic than what is happening within the port of Rotterdam, because everything is happening within the port boundaries, and that gives you complete different dynamics that are happening. And in order to be able to bring the value to the clients, it is really required that you understand, like, what is the process that you are actually working on, and what is the value that you are bringing to them, or what is basically their challenge.
Yeah. So it's the import operations that can be different port to port, because every port is unique, you're saying, and the port to port operations, that is then the client, the ship operations rather than the port operations that are affected by
charter. Yep.
Knowing exactly. So yeah, that's great. Now, so you're expanding. You have operations in Asia. You have operations in America. You have operations, of course, in Europe, and you are gradually trying to get to big hubs, because those are the most in need for a solution like yours. Now, I would say, well, how would you do it? I could think, as a startup, first thing, well, financing. Let's fund it. Let's fund the growth, and let's spend millions to get everywhere. But I think I heard that you have some other plans and vision about this.
Yeah. I think having money is a great thing, and trying to build solutions is also a good thing. But I think the key requirement, and that's also why we are very taking very conscious the steps that we are taking. What is key is that you are actually solving the right problem, and this is a problem that has to do with collaboration. It's a global problem with all of different with different dynamics. So the approach that we have taken is not going for the money, but we are solving already problems that are contributing to the bottom line of our clients. So that is bringing in some cash flow. And we are looking at really starting partnerships with players that have a global coverage, because that will be our way into more markets that we see as our distribution channel, that do we see as our knowledge that is required to deliver the right type of services, especially on the level that we are working on, this collaboration in this next level of data in these business processes where the decisions need to be made.
Yeah. So it's a completely different strategy. Rather than go and I buy everything, I buy the market. It's I would say it's a typically Dutch mindset. In fact, you have the word collaborate there, and I learned, I used in the past, I have friends in Holland, and I know of the polder model. The idea that we're really here to collaborate, otherwise we will sink, basically. And it's the same thing. You're saying, well, why spend spending, like invading locations, rather than collaborating with people or companies who are already in those locations that really need us and we need them, and it's mutual benefit, which is a very interesting strategy for a startup. But I would say it's typically Dutch. So how is going? You say you have these big names. Are these big names coming? Are you getting in touch with more and more opportunities?
We have quite a nice list with whom we are working, and again, this is also about finding the right opportunity. What is the right moment? So we are really looking for these type of partnerships. So if there are people or companies who say, like, oh, we've got a problem which is locally which we have locally, but it's actually a global problem, and it has to do with the maritime world or the port call optimization world, we're really happy, more than happy to look into, like, okay, can we understand your problem, how can we contribute to the problem, and what would be the right win-win situation to start a collaboration or an engagement in that respect. So yeah, that's definitely something we are open for and we're looking for. And already have managed to close a couple of deals. We're working together with Cargotec Nevis with the container terminals. So there you see one of the examples of the strategy. And I mentioned a couple of other clients already in that respect.
So I would say any client that could be related to either ports or carriers that have a problem that might be local, but actually it's not local because it's part of a bigger system, might be a good partner for you. And there could be a very beneficial mutual relationship to develop. So, well, if you have this problem, you know where to go.
You're welcome. I'm always open to have a conversation and show what we're doing and explain what we're doing. I think that's the first starting point.
Absolutely. So, well, great. It's great. It's growing. It's changing. It's getting better. In the last 3 years, I've seen you develop, and I'm sure that in the next 3 years, we'll see even more changes. For now, I would say keep going and good luck.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And we enjoy what we're doing. I think that's one of the key things. It is really a magnificent world, the maritime industry. The challenges that are on the table are huge, but I also like the maritime world very much with all the feedback we get, with all the collaboration that we are moving into. Every day there are things happening which I really like and which keep me awake and working on our mission to have impact in the maritime industry.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Thank you. Cheers.